he said, it's better to have 100 people that deeply love you, if this axis is number of people and this axis is love. Focus on 100 people that love you, rather than getting 1 million people that kind of like you. And I think this is a profound piece of advice. It may have been the best piece of advice I've ever gotten. And it actually runs counterintuitive to almost everything that everyone says. Everyone focuses on scale, but scale requires people to have a deep passion, because if you focus on 100 people who love you, there's two things that happen. The first thing is, how do you know how to make something for 1 million people? I don't know where to start, but if I pick one person in the audience, and I study you, and I take your journey and say, how do we improve this part of the journey? How do we improve that part of the journey? You can actually do something really personal. And if you design something, keep iterating till they love it. And don't stop improving until that one person loves it. And you're not allowed to get the second person until the first person loves it. And then you get the second person, and you keep iterating until they love it. And then the third person. And what ends up happening is two things. One, you design this perfect experience, which is a different part of your mind than the industrial part of your mind that has to figure out how to scale this. And the second thing is, when people love your service, they become your marketing department. They tell other people. So the first day Y Combinator, they give you this t-shirt. And on the t-shirt, it says, make something people want. And we thought, what if we went even further, make something people love? And so we've now done these exercises. We had this process I named after the movie Snow White. I learned that Walt Disney, in 1937, created Snow White. It was one of the first uses of the storyboard, because it was this really long feature-length animated movie. And he storyboarded the experience. And I thought to myself, what if we storyboard the perfect experience of Airbnb? We actually hired Pixar storyboard artists to do this. And then what we like to do is pick one frame of the experience. So the moment of truth in Airbnb is when you check in, right? You're like, is this going to be what I think it is? And there's a really bad version of check-in, like the host didn't show up. And there's kind of a good version of a check-in. They showed up. But we wanted to think to ourselves, what would make the experience something people love? And so we created this exercise. We thought, when you go on Airbnb, this is also true Uber, a 5-star mostly means nothing bad happened. And we thought, well, what if there was a 6-star? What would that be when you check into Airbnb? And the 6-star is you get to your Airbnb, and there's a bottle of wine waiting on a table, and there's some fruit, and they have a handwritten note to you. And I'm like, okay, that's really nice. And then I thought, well, what would a 7-star experience be? A 7-star experience is they get a limo, they pick you up at the airport, and there's this whole curated experience. You get to the house, and they know you like surfing, and there's a surfboard there waiting for you and all that stuff. So then I thought, what would an 8-star experience be like? An 8-star experience, you get to the airport, there's a giant elephant, and you get on the elephant, and there's a parade in your honor, and you go to your Airbnb. So what would a 9-star experience be? The 9-star experience is the Beatles check-in. You land, and there's 5,000 teenagers cheering your name. And you get to your Airbnb and you have to do a press conference in the front lawn. So what's a 10-star experience? We'll keep going. A 10-star experience, you show up, and Elon Musk says, we're going to space. And you do get back eventually. And the point of this story is that you maybe can't make an 8, 9, or 10-star experience. But most people try to design something that's just good enough. But if you can add that 6 or 7-star, if you can design something really amazing, and you use the part of your brain, the handcrafted part of your brain, to create that perfect experience, then you can reverse engineer how to industrialize this millions times over. And what happens is people love your product, and they tell everyone else about your product.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. We have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. Like literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Clay is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot. And so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely... It's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to like bang my head into a wall. And she's like banging her head into the chair in front of her. Like, it's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I'm not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed $13,000 for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over $50,000 for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your podcast download or your radio broadcast. So many people have reached out to us over the years and have asked me. They'll say on the phone, they'll say when they fill out the form at Thrive Time Show, or they'll say to me in person, They'll say to you, Marshall, when you're doing your 13-point assessments, they'll say to you, Eric Chupp, when you're doing the assessments, they'll say, my business has gotten to a point where I'm starting to make some profit, but I need help making systems.
Right.
You hear that a lot. I need to make systems.
Got to duplicate myself somehow. I don't know.
And I think that that's great that you now know you need systems. But I don't think people understand what systems look like. Now, Marshall, I'm going to really lean on you heavily for this segment of the show. But this morning in the meeting, you remember the voicemail we played this morning?
Yeah.
What was the voicemail? Can you kind of explain to the listeners where that voicemail came from? It was obviously a church in Owensboro. But what was the origin of the voicemail, or what was the voicemail about?
Well, it was a church in Owensboro about the workflow and things flowing correctly. And I don't know how far I can go with the quote, but this was the first week. It was a voicemail in response to the first week of having all of the systems operate the way that they were supposed to operate.
So there's signs on the street with people waving at people as they drive by, inviting them to go to church and that Christ loves them.
That's right.
And there was somebody who was really going through a rough time in their life, and they called the church to tell the church how much those
just out
signs,
of the blue. It wasn't like they were soliciting like customers, but just the experience of executing the systems.
And not to go super deep, but I'll go there a little bit. There was one church I worked with way back in the day, and a woman said that she was going to have an abortion, which would mean you would terminate the life of an unborn child. Whether you are in favor of pro-life or not, that's what that means. You're going to abort the life of an unborn child, meaning that somebody would not get a chance to live. So like 50 Cent, Curtis, last name Jackson, the rapper, he grew up in a rough environment where his mother decided not to have an abortion. There's a lot of famous people out there that you don't realize, like Steve Jobs was an adoption baby. There was actually somebody who called this church and said, I was going to have an abortion, but you guys, the signs you said there is an option, it's called adoption. Those signs caused me to look into it, and that's why I have a kid today. And I've heard that numerous times. So when I talk about a church putting out signs, like to me, it's a serious deal, And if you take away the religious aspects or the abortion or something heavy, you just think about like your haircut business. If you don't put out the signs, like people don't show up. So the linear workflow is creating the documents. It's documenting the systems that have to work together, and it shows on a whiteboard, on a big wall, how the systems fit together and where the ball is potentially being dropped as you go from left to right on the timeline. So from the time that you start on the left, you do your branding, then you go into marketing, then you go into sales, then you go into product delivery, then you go into accounting. So I'm going to read you a notable quotable. I'd like for you to kind of break down how workflows work there, Marshall. So here's the notable quotable from Jay Walker, the actual founder of Priceline. He says, hire people to execute on solutions to solve problems. Don't hire people to solve problems. Fundamentally, you have to solve problems first, then hire people to execute against the solutions you created. The owner has to make the workflow. What? Marshall.
I'm so passionate about this.
Let it happen.
Just breathe, man.
I had 2 meetings today where I talked about this, and this is what everybody that's listening needs to write down, mentally commit, listen back to it, do whatever you need to do to remember this. But you, as a business owner, as a manager, you must manage strategy and delegate execution. Manage strategy, delegate execution. What I am doing, okay, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're installing siding on a house, whether you are doing a bathroom remodel.
You make the systems and you hire the people to do the systems.
That's right. How do I need to document what I am currently doing so that I never have to do it again?
So W. Edwards Deming says if you can't describe what you are doing as a process, then you don't know what you're doing. Now, Wes Carter, you are not a process engineer, but you are an attorney.
Yes.
And great attorneys can explain the way the law works on a third grade level so the average client gets it. Poor attorneys talk over the heads of their clients. Explain why that is always true.
Well, in law school, some people get the mistaken understanding that the bigger words and the longer sentences we use, the better attorneys we are, when our job is really to communicate something to our client, and clients speak an everyday language, and if we can't communicate, we're not really worth the money they're paying us.
So, Marshall, with a cornucopia of language, would you continue reading a notable quotable? Eric Chupp, could you
I'll do it.
readeth a notable quotable, please? We'll not get caught up in semantics here, but if you could just focus on the syntax, if you could just wax poetic for a minute, I would like to relate to the common people.
Comes from a leather-bound book.
Thank you, please.
Okay, this is from Henry Ford. Okay, he says, the competitor to be feared is one who never bothers about you at all, but goes on making his business better all of the time.
Ooh.
So when you have a workflow in place, you can catch issues in the system. If you can't see where the ball is being dropped, you can't fix it. So when you make a linear workflow from left to right, a document, a map, it looks like a diagram, like when you're diagramming a sentence. It's like you're playing the game, what's it, Chutes and Ladders? It's like it's a workflow from left to right. It's a document that shows how your business fits together. And we have ample examples that the human mind can handle and download. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you click on the podcast, on the show notes, we have the workflow for River City Church and Elephant in the Room available for you to look at. So I'm going to go through the boxes, Marshall, and you kind of explain what I should see there. Box number 1, you've got to document your processes for branding. What does that mean?
That means everything that your prospective customer experiences or touches has to be world-class. It has to be high quality.
Then you have to diagram your system for marketing. What kind of things should you find in the marketing box?
How are you distributing your brand? How is it that you're getting your product or service in front of buyers?
Box 3, sales conversion.
Sales conversion, what is the script that you are using and how are you recording calls of people reaching out to potential customers?
Box 4, batting cleanup, service and product delivery. Why do we have to document that?
You got to document that because how is it that you're providing your product or service?
Box number 5, human resources. Why do we have to document that?
How are you getting great people into your business?
Through osmosis. Box number 6, accounting.
What are the numbers? Are you profitable? Are you not making profit? Are you breaking even?
Box number 7, it's the perfect number, strategic growth. Why do you need to document that?
What do you need to do in order to develop strategically your business development? What are you doing to progress the business forward?
So how are you going to scale it, like franchising or licensing your system or taking the company public? Or how are you going to grow that thing? And then the final one is box number 8. Why do you have to do PR to tell the world what you're doing well?
You got to showcase the success that you're having and get it out into the world, and this will help perpetuate further growth.
Now, Eric Chupp, there's a lot of knowledge there, but as a business coach, how do you help the client? How do you help an actual client, like our listener, turn these ideas into an actual linear workflow? How do you help them?
The first thing you got to do is you got to walk through. We got this list of action items right here of creating these boxes. We literally sit down with the client and we write it out on a whiteboard. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to go through this, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And every time you do it, imagine that you're the customer. You're the ideal and likely buyer walking through this process. And things are going to open up. A good example would be you were working with River City Church, right?
Right.
And I use this example a lot with my clients. I say, okay, let's imagine you're going to a big church. What's the first interaction you have with the church? And they all say it's either like greeters or getting coffee. And I say, you're very close, but it's actually the parking lot.
Right.
It's the parking lot. If you pull up to a building that has 1,500 cars out front, you don't know where to park, you don't know what door to go in, you're going to turn around and leave.
And that's why River City is so awesome. Because Pastor Brian has a heart to reach people that don't know Christ, and he just wants to make a duplicatable process so nobody gets forgotten. He wants everyone to know that Christ loves them, and his intention is not for anybody to feel like they're forgotten. So, Wes, at Winters and King, how do you guys, when you're representing a client and you're going through the process of representing somebody to help either defend their business, or how do you guys use checklists and systems to make sure you don't drop the ball in a critical way? How do you guys use systems over there at Winters and King?
Well, let's stick with the theme here. We're talking about churches. So we've incorporated around 5,000 churches and ministries. Yeah.
What?
And so
5,000.
I have a checklist of here's everything you do to start the corporation. Here's how you set up the bylaws. Here's how you do the first minutes. Here's how you apply with the IRS for your tax exemption. And so we have checklists to make sure that we don't drop the ball in everything we do.
If somebody was looking for a great attorney, how do they get a hold of you guys at Winters King?
They can call us at 918-494-6868. That's 918-494-6868. Or online, www.wintersking.com.
And I've got a 4-step checklist here right in front of me right now. We've got the podcasts, the one-on-one business coaching, the in-person workshops,
That one.
and a video library of thousands of videos. And then we like to end with a 3 and a 2 and a 1 and a boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis. And that simplicity brings power with it. So it shocked me how simple some of the stuff is. And at times I'm like, why didn't I think about that? Workflow creation, systematic marketing, and coaching has helped our church so much. You know, the workflow creation is what it really is they're going to look and see every moving part of your church, of your ministry, what needs to be done. And it's going to go up on a massive board. And so now what it does is it takes what you know needs to be done out of your heart and out of your head. Really takes the pressure, the stress off your shoulders, and it puts it on the board where your entire team, your ministry can see exactly what you want them to do every day. And so they know this is the playbook, this is what we're doing. And then there's laser sharp accountability with a meeting afterwards. Did it get done or not? I'll tell you, it's changed the way we execute as a church so fast. And it's produced really an excitement because people they want to get done. If they know what they're supposed to do, a good person wants to get it done. It's been massive for our team. The systematic marketing has really been like this. In the past, we used to market and we would try something. I've done everything, billboards, ads, mailers, internet, Facebook, but we would run something for so long and then we wouldn't see that it was producing the results we want. Instead of staying consistent, we would jump to another horse. Then we would jump to another horse. And what systematic marketing does is it makes you pick some things and stick with it. And then the coaching is massive. And I think having a coach that looks and sees what you're doing and can come help you make small adjustments. I believe those small tweaks, once he gets everything set up, those small tweaks can make massive differences. And a great coach doesn't even have to play your sport, right? Doesn't even have to do what you do. A coach has an eye to see things that you can't see or to see it from a different angle. And just having that extra eye on what I do and just, hey, have you thought about this? It's making all the difference in the world. What Clay Clark and his team can provide for your church that you can't do in-house and I can't do in-house. Well, what's been massive for me is that search engine optimization, how to get to the top of Google, taking care of transcribing all of my sermons to drive me up the list on Google, stuff that I don't think about and I don't have time to do. I've got all these things I have to do as a pastor, right? I have sermons to preach. I have a staff to manage. I have a budget to take care of. I got sick folk to see about. I have a team that has to do that. You know how it is. You got to marry people. You got to bury people. We're never going to stay in a dark room with a keyboard optimizing our Google presence. And these guys do that kind of thing for you. Also, if you're at a couple 100-member church, I remember how hard it was back in the day to take care of the website needs, to come up with graphic design. And these guys are available to you for sermon slides, getting that kind of stuff done where you can have a sharp-looking presentation of the gospel. And it takes it off you, it puts it on them at a very reasonable price. I really believe Clay Clark and his team can help a church with limited resources in a big way. I know what it's like to be a church of limited resources. My wife and I, we walked into a town where we didn't know anybody. We had a Bible and we just had a few bucks in our pocket. And somebody introduced us to a couple of families. We started going there. So I know what it's like to be a church of 2, and I know what it's like to be a church of 2,000 in 2 different campuses now, 1,000 apiece, and everywhere in between. So I love churches at every level. I believe God wants them all to grow. And I think about the needs I had back in the day, the lack of direction I had. Man, I was working 80 hours a week all the time, but a lot of times I was a shotgun instead of a rifle. I think when you start, you can really hone in with the right coaching. You can get a lot of your different needs met in one place instead of having somebody on marketing and somebody on showing you how to do systems and somebody on graphic design. Thrive can do a lot of that for you at a very reasonable cost. I think it's a great place to invest in the life of your ministry. I'm telling you, I think you can get the results you want with the coaching here faster than any other way. It's going to be powerful.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months, and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was, anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kola with Kola Fitness. Thank you, Clay, and anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kola. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D. Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. the processes and the advertising and marketing, I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.